I'm Margaret McAlister, and I'm the owner of McAlister Mortgage Company, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about my company. But first, what I'm going to start with is my previous experience before I opened my own mortgage company. After college, I went to Charlotte, and I worked for Bank of America for 16 years, and I was in different roles there, and I'm going to go over in detail what some of those roles were. During that time, a lot of mergers with the bank were going on, and it was always interesting to guess and see what's going to happen now, but it never did affect my employment, which was good. So the first thing that I started in, the first position, was working with the Credit Policy Committee, and I was like the administrator. So I pulled together information for the committee to look at, dealing with commercial loans in North Carolina so that they can make a decision about whether they wanted to do this loan for this customer or it was not such a good loan to do. So it was a great way to learn about the commercial side of lending. And after a couple years, I then moved into Treasury Management, and I was in their consulting group. And so basically, our area consulted with middle market and Fortune 500 companies. And what we wanted to do is determine the needs to develop potential solutions and economic viability in order to optimize fiscal management of receivables and payables according to receiving and distribution points. So I managed the project activities. So I would do cost-benefit analysis, and I worked with the encoders who we would go to these companies, and they were trying to determine what was the best place for them to set up lot boxes. So depending upon where most of their customers were, they wanted them to send their payments into these lot boxes that were closer to the customers. And so the ultimate thing was they would get these companies, by being strategic about where their lot boxes were, would get the money in the bank faster for them. So, and I traveled all over the United States, which I liked, to meet with these customers. Eventually I had my daughter. She was born, and the traveling got to be a little bit too much, and we moved up to Statesville. And not only was the travel too much, but the commute was a little bit too much. So I went to the bank and I asked them if I could take a position in Statesville, and they had a consumer banker position. So I took that job, and I fell in love with this role. It's more of a sales position, and you're selling all the different bank products. My dad, he was in sales. Growing up, we would entertain customers and their children all the time, and he was always in contests to win trips, and he'd win the trips. So I grew up with that sales piece. So I was very successful in it, and the first year I did it, I was like the top producer in North and South Carolina, and then several years after that, I was always in the top 1%. Well, I started thinking I sold a lot of different products, but my favorite one was doing the mortgages. And so I started thinking, I think if I had my own mortgage company, I could really give good customer service compared to a big bank. So after a year about thinking about it, a friend of mine had left the bank to go work for a mortgage broker company in Charlotte, and I went and talked to them, and they asked me if I would open the Lake Norman office for them. So I thought this was a good stepping stone before I opened my own company. So I ran that office for about 2 years, and being a mortgage broker company, you are signing up and getting approved to work with different banks. So you have, like I had 10 banks I was signed up with. And so you can pick and choose where you want to send your customer and shop for the best deal for them. So then I decided, okay, I'm ready to do my own thing. My bookkeeper, I had a bookkeeper. I was doing pretty much my own thing at the Lake Norman office with this company. And she's like, you need to just go on and get on your own. So I applied to the North Carolina Banking Commission. I had to fill out a lot of paperwork, and after several weeks, they came back and approved me. So that's when I opened my office, and I had to sign up. Then I had to sign up with the banks and apply to them. The good thing is I already knew who the bank reps were from the previous company, so that made it a little bit easier. And before you know it, I have 10 employees, and My role as an owner, I regulated documents to be in compliance with the Banking Commission. They came by and did annual reviews. I had to set up the office procedures. I had to manage administrative and professionals and train them. I did extensive marketing. I did sales presentations just to get out there and network. And I also had to learn each of the bank's computer systems. They each had a way of how to enter the loan application, so it was a matter of learning each of their ways on that computer. So how do I do business? I do business on the internet. I have a website, and you can enter your loan application into there, and it gets emailed to me. I do it face-to-face. Either you can meet in my office, or I will drive out to a location that's convenient for you. Or we can do it over the telephone or email. So I know most of my customers are very busy, so they don't have a lot of time to put into this. So I try to make it seamless as possible and convenient. A lot of times I don't even meet my customers face-to-face until the loan closing. I like to go to all my loan closings. You never know what will happen, and I try to prevent anything from happening. And so if I let the customer choose what attorney they want to work with, and if they don't have a preference, then I have one that I know very well that I like to work with, and I know his back office, so I will choose them. But I always, once the bank sends the loan package to the attorney, I always call them and get them to send me the settlement statement with the closing costs to me ahead of the closing for two reasons. I want to make sure it's correct, and the other is I want to call the customer so they know what size official check they're supposed to bring to the loan closing. When I go to the loan closing, I usually take a bottle of wine, and after that I send a thank you note. So some of my unique offerings, since I do work from so many different banks or with so many different banks, I have a lot to choose from. So if you're purchasing a home, I can shop for the best rate, the best product. First-time home buyers, I have 100% financing. Also, refinance, I can do refinance. And I can do second mortgages, home equity lines, and then another unique offering is a PATH. And that is for the person that can't get approved right now, that wants to buy a home, but I can give them some things that they need to shoot for and do to make it happen in a year or two. My success is due to the lucrative market around this area, in the greater Charlotte area. And a lot of people are relocating to this area. Call to action, I have special interest rates. If you would like to find out more about them, please contact me. My phone number is 704-902-6292, or you can check out our website, McAlisterMortgage.com, or email me at margaret@McAlisterMortgage.com. Thank you for your time today, and I look forward to talking.